Senate President Godswill Akpabio has urged civil society organizations to remain steadfast in defending democratic values and promoting national development. Akpabio made the call at the first Civil Society Summit on Civil Democracy and National Development in Abuja with the theme Civil Society, Democracy and Governance Reforms, Building Sustainable Partnerships for National Development. The Senate President, represented by Senator Yemi Adaramodu, Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, said civil society has shown courage and consistency in defending order and the rule of law.
Democracy is not merely the counting of votes. It is the cultivation of virtue. It is not just about government of the people, a government by the principle for the peace and prosperity of the many. Development, divorced from democracy, is tyranny in the widest and velvet glove. And democracy without development is but a whisper in the whirlwind in the confrontation between the rule of law and the rule of ego, and between the dignity of parliamentary order and the disorder of populist spectacle. You stood for truth. Let history record that in the year 2025, at a moment when Nigeria trembled in the balance, men and women of conscience gathered in Abuja and chose to stand, not alone, but together.
Also speaking, Senator Shehu Sani, human rights activist, urged civil society to remain strategic and professional under a democratic system.
So, the responsibility of the civil society under a democratic era is more complex than our own. Because during our time, those in the position of authority are occupying the seat illegally, so they have no recognition anywhere. But here, you are dealing with people who are elected, whether it is clean, free, fair, or not. The issue is that the embassies and the world recognize them as elected people in office. So your responsibility as civil society is that you are not the opposition. Your relationship with the government must be measured, and your relationship with the opposition must also be measured. Civil society groups that are focused on health have to know what is happening in the Ministry of Health. Civil society groups that are focused on education have to know what is happening in the Ministry of Education. Civil society groups that are focused on infrastructure have to know what is there. Civil society groups that are focused on gender violence, child mortality, and all those things, environment, you all have to be there. That is where the area of engagement comes in.
In his remarks, Mr. Sunday Dare, former Minister of Youth and Sports and Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, said civil society must rise above agitation and focus on constructive engagement.
That the civil society has a greater role to play under civil democracy. We've seen government policies and initiatives fail because of lack of awareness, because of lack of education, because of lack of understanding. The civil society in the past used to be seen as a weapon for confrontation against the state. But I think that changed when we moved to civil democracy. And that orientation must abide as we are under civil democracy. The civil society under democratic governance as bridge builders. And the question arises, and I will be provocative. Are we building the bridges, or are we attacking those bridges and destroying them? The civil society is to deepen the space between government and the citizens.
Also speaking, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, a legal practitioner, urged civil society to remain united and move from passive consultation to active collaboration.
United, we will always stand. Divided, we will always fall. The greatest unity of civil society is in their unity. The greatest strength of civil society is in their unity. If you allow them to break you up, they will take you out. The time for governance reforms cannot be more urgent than now. So this is the time that we should go beyond consultation to collaboration. We have to go beyond tokenism to true partnerships. And we have to go beyond reactive advocacy to strategic partnership. Because if we want to build a democratic future, it has to be a future that will align the democratic values with inclusive governance so that we can build a just, prosperous, and united nation.
Blessing Akilosotu, Executive Director of the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria, said that the council will continue to uphold its ideal, including patriotism, accountability, good governance advocacy, and active citizen participation in national development.